Hello and welcome to this brand new edition of Sports Epicentre with me, Nabila Jamal. Just like every other sport and industry, cricket is also looking at resumption. Fortunately, that isn't going to take too long now. But what the world is waiting to hear is an official word of the T20 World Cup that Australia is scheduled to host later this year. But the chances of that happening now are bleak. However, that doesn't mean that this is the end of the road.
Cricket Australia is unlikely to host the tournament as per the schedule this year under the prevailing circumstances. That could mean the T20 World Cup being moved to 2022. Move the tournament to February-March next year, but the chances of that have dropped considerably in the last couple of weeks. Second one is to take the tournament to 2022 with Australia being the host nation. Moving the T20 World Cup out of this year's calendar will allow BCCI to host the IPL in that window, hoping that the situation with regards to coronavirus improves considerably.
Obviously, we've been hopeful all along that it could be staged in October, November, but you would have to say there's a very high risk about the prospect of that happening. In the event that that doesn't happen, there are other potential windows in the February-March period, October-November, the following year.
And he runs it away, that'll be the 100. The brilliance of the man.
India is scheduled to host the next year's T20 World Cup, but Cricket Australia has requested that they be allowed to stage the tournament in 2021.
It's been a magnificent innings.
That would mean India hosts two world events in a space of few months. T20 World Cup in October 2022 and then the 50-over World Cup in March 2023. Like every walk of life, sports too has been massively affected due to the outbreak of coronavirus. However, international cricket is on the verge of resumption with West Indies scheduled to play England in a 3-test series starting July 8.
That's bowled him, straight through him. Absolute beauty, he's got his line right there.
For the West Indies to still come over here, they're obviously helping the game massively. And of course, safety is everything, and it wouldn't be possible if that was going to be compromised. But still, it must be extremely scary, and I think the whole cricketing world will be grateful to see some cricket again. Of course, everyone would love to see cricket back on right now. But until it's absolutely airtight, then we have to be patient and wait, and I think that's the best way of doing it.
Hit away for four. Different coloured ball, same result. Joe Root is a run machine.
One series could well subside many fears and will also allow an opportunity to plug holes in terms of safety of players. BCCI is also in discussion with a couple of boards, including South Africa, for a possible short T20 series in August. West Indies tour of England could well set the ball rolling following a lengthy break of close to 4 months now. Sports Bureau, India Today.
Against the Windies.
Now, Australian captain Aaron Finch perhaps is the only one or possibly the best person to answer how his country is gearing up for the T20 World Cup. Finch spoke exclusively to India Today on how he's looking at various other possibilities.
Yeah, I think that if it's postponed, I think that's just, people have to understand that it's not just getting one team into a country and isolating and doing all them things to make sure that the biosecurity is looked after. It's getting 10, 12, 14 teams into a foreign country, which is going to be really tough, no doubt. We all want it to go ahead, and you just have to think about the logistics of how hard it can be for a team, not just one team. It's hard for one team to try and find a place that you can still train and practice and prepare as well as you can. But think about how many teams have to come for the T20 World Cup, and that's going to be really tough. Whether India come here in our summer for the Test, ODIs, T20s, that's just one team that you're talking about, and that's a lot different to trying to get a couple of hundred players plus ICC staff plus media plus television networks and everyone into the country and isolated, that's going to be a really tough thing to sell. So I think all that you have to consider is the health of the players for one, but the country where you're visiting, whether it's Australia, whether it's South Africa, it doesn't matter where it is. I think that you just have to take into account the health of everyone involved, and that's going to be a really, really tough time. Yeah, I think once they make that decision, regard if it's on or if it's off, I don't think it's going to make any kind of difference. But as soon as they know, I'm sure that they'll pass that on to the public and to the players and the boards and everything. I don't think that there's going to be any hiding away from the fact that that's a huge decision, no doubt. And I know as a player, as a captain, we want the tournament to go ahead. How realistic is that to go ahead? I'm not sure. I don't know the percentages, but I'm no doubt that as soon as that decision's made, that we'll all be made aware.
Now, 2020 was a year that was loaded with power-packed action for sporting fans. However, fans will now have to make do with less in the wake of coronavirus outbreak. But there is some positive news as Indian team's biggest cricket assignment is still on.
Punch down the ground. He's done it. Virat Kohli.
India's tour of Australia later this year will be one series that the world will have its eyes on. As of now, the BCCI has given its thumbs up with the hope that the situation will get better in times to come.
I'm just excited about the prospect of India coming out. I think India coming out here in Australia, it's up there with the biggest series alongside the Ashes, and obviously they're an absolute powerhouse of the cricket world. So to have those guys out here, it's going to be fantastic.
But the tour could well see many firsts, starting with venue of the matches. Adelaide is coming up with a hotel which could possibly be the place where the Indian team will stay under quarantine for the first 2 weeks. This will allow the team to practice and reside at the same location before the contest kickstarts behind closed doors.
You're funny you say that. I was actually talking to Mitch Stark the other day, and we actually said that if we are playing with no crowd, it'll be quite amazing to see Virat try and rev up the seats. So it's going to be a little bit different, but I think he's a superstar, so he'll be able to adapt to any climate that we're able to play in.
Cricket Australia is reeling under financial burden, and the BCCI may agree to play more matches than what India was originally scheduled to play.
Nicked. It's been nicked. The second wicket down for India.
Australia recently dethroned India from the #1 spot in Test rankings, and they have already set their sights on the next target.
Obviously, they had the Woodovers here last time they come out here, but I feel like we're a much stronger Australian cricket side at the moment, and I'm just unbelievably excited about the prospect of playing them here at home.
We have to beat India in India, and we've got to beat them when they come back, because they've been the #1 team, and they're rightly so for some time. But we have to beat India.
Australia has shown great improvement in terms of dealing with COVID-19, and now the lockdown is being lifted with a 3-step plan.
Step 1 will enable greater connection with friends and family, allowing gatherings of up to 10 people and 5 guests in your own home. Working from home if it works for you and your employer. That's a difference in emphasis, as I'm sure you've picked up. It will see children back in classrooms and in playgrounds in their communities. Golfers back on the green. Lap swimmers back in the pool.
Hopefully, situation improves, and hopefully cricket resumes as well. If the T20 World Cup does get shifted, India's tour down under could be the confidence-building act that sports world needs against this global fight.
As has been the case throughout this innings.
Sports Bureau, India Today.
Very rarely misses out, does he?
Now, Virat Kohli versus Steve Smith. It's quite a debate on which everybody remains divided. Australian captain Aaron Finch, however, settles the debate with his opinion. We caught up with Finch to pick his brains. It's an India Today exclusive. Let's take a listen.
Well, I think in Test cricket, what is unbelievable about both of them is their record, both home and away. Obviously, Virat had a tough series a few years ago in England against Jimmy Anderson, but then he come back last time and dominated that series. Smith has he's never really struggled anywhere, to be fair. He's an unbelievable Test player. And the thing that's most impressive about both of them, and which probably separates them amongst everyone else, I think that puts them both above everyone else, is how dominant they are all around the world. It's one thing to dominate in your own country. To do it all around the world is extraordinary, day in, day out. They very rarely have bad... Sometimes they get out early, but that's just a part of cricket. But they don't miss out too many times in a row. And when they get in, they go big. I think that I think Smith still just has the edge in Test cricket. Maybe that's Virat's probably played on some wickets that deteriorate a lot quicker when the ball starts spinning big and going a little bit lower a bit more often. But I think Steve in Test cricket is unbelievable. His game plan is so so good at it. I think overall, Virat's one-day cricket, I think that by the time he finishes his career, he'll be the best one-day player of all time, if he isn't already. I mean, playing against him for so long, it's difficult, but at times it's also beautiful to watch. I mean, it's like playing against anyone who's the best of the best, regardless of whether it's Virat, whether it's Rohit, whether it's watching Davey Warner, Kane Williamson. These guys, when the best are on, and they're really on it, it's great to watch. It's so frustrating trying to play against them, but at the same time, it's so good to watch. It's almost, at times, you feel like you're admiring their batting while you're playing against them, which it's great to. I think the Virat will be the greatest one-day player of all time by the time he finishes. If not, he isn't already. I mean, Sachin got more hundreds and more runs, but the way that Virat constructs run chases and is there, I think the amount of hundreds that he's got in winning run chases is extraordinary. So T20, Virat probably has the edge over Steve just a little bit, just because he's probably played a bit more cricket. But the versatility of both of them in T20 cricket, to be able to be the guy who anchors the innings and sees the team home, or come out and be really aggressive, ultra aggressive, play that really high strike rate game from ball one. That's probably what sets them apart from a lot of players around the world over all three formats, is that they're so adaptable to any conditions.
Now, Virat Kohli and Steve Smith will be up against each other later this year when India travel down under. Openers from both sides, Rohit Sharma and David Warner, are itching to get back on the field as well. Well, the tide will turn is a question. This time around, following India's historic series win down under in 2019, what's going to happen? Let's take a listen.
I don't know how long it will last, but hopefully once this pandemic's over, I think the ICC World Cup, maybe that's in sort of it's probably not going to go ahead, I think, by the looks of what's happening here. I think getting everyone into one spot's going to be difficult. But actually, that's what I was saying. I was reading today. A lot of people talk to me about, like, what's our rivalry like? And I was like, it's when you walk on the field, it's completely different. When I walk on the field for Sunrisers, when you walk on the field for Mumbai, it doesn't matter if you've played with that person for X amount of years, you're playing for that team that you're in. So it's combat mode. You're competitive. It's passion. So it's one of those things. Like, I love playing against India in India because everyone's against you, but it's the hardest conditions to play in for us. It's like when you guys come here, it's hard conditions for you because you're not used to it. So, you've almost got this more motivation to succeed.
Yeah.
But it's very difficult.
I personally love playing against Australia. Whenever, there's an opportunity to play against Australia, it's a different feeling. And last year when we were in Australia, when we won the series, which has never happened before in the history of Indian cricket, it was it was good for us as a team. I know you guys were missing, but still, I mean, you know, what the bowlers did there, what the batters did there for us was a great boost, you know. And actually, we were quite looking forward to this year's tour as well. I hope somehow, you know, both the boards, Australian board and Indian board, they somehow try and manage to do something and get this series underway, because it'll be great for the teams as well, firstly, but also great for people to start cricket with. You know, that'll be a great series for people to watch, and you know, that's a great way. Will be a great way to kick off, you know, the cricket in the world if that happens. I don't know. IPL is likely to happen at some stage as well, but I have no idea about what date or what month it would be. Once everything settles down a little bit, probably will be a better idea for us to judge whether it is likely to happen or not. But I'm really looking forward to that Australian tour. Oh, I hope it really happens in Jan or Feb or whatever, whenever it is.
Now it's time for a short break. On the other side, we're going to hear from Virat Kohli on changes in cricket post-COVID-19 halt. But for now, here's a sneak peek on what MS Dhoni is up to these days.
Curtis, you want to take You're going to make us sit on this?
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.